Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Procore and how to set up a project. I'm David Mills. I'm with ZenTek Consultants. And kind of just as a housekeeping policy, everyone is muted kind of by default. However, we do ask you, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at any time. We do also have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and I'll be answering any questions that are asked during that kind of time session. So a little bit about ZenTek Consultants. So we work within the architectural engineering and construction industry to help all of our clients use the technologies and softwares they need to perform and grow within this complex industry. And we provide a single point of contact for all of our clients to both purchase, implement, and learn all of these systems. So a little bit about myself. I've been within the just construction industry for just shy of a decade now, working on all types of different projects, ranging from small commercial to $100 million healthcare projects. And I've been kind of every single role in between. I started off as an intern and worked my way all the way up to eventually an assistant project manager as my last role. And kind of throughout all these, different experiences and different projects, I've learned a plethora of softwares out there. And one of which has always kind of, been with me has been Procore. And Procore has just been such a great, project management software where I've actually am Procore certified through ZenTek Consultants now. So we do offer, Procore consulting and education as well. But kind of with that said, let's kind of get started within the full presentation here. So Procore, as most people realize, is just a huge project management, software, tool that we use, and it's starting to get more and more used out there, but still pretty new for a lot of construction firms. So setting up a project is extremely vital, especially doing it the first time or moving forward, because if you do not get that initial momentum kicking off the project properly or starting your project properly, it's just going to trickle down into more and more issues farther down the line, either within the same project, during the phases of construction. It could be post-construction during punch list, or even maybe a couple years down the line if other issues on that building arise and the owner or whoever it may be contacting you guys. So to kind of kick us off with creating a project, it's pretty straightforward. Within our top right up here, simply create project. Once we get on there, we're going to want to fill out, I just switched tabs here, it's already filled out. We're going to want to fill out all this information about our project. Now, we want to include as much information about our project as possible. So I have a value in here, I got time zone. You want to include as much information as possible, because the way Procore works is all of the tools within all these different types of subcategories of tools, such as punch lists and all that, they all intertwine within each other. So the more information you have at the start of the project and the more filled out you continue with everything, the better off, and you're going to have a much better experience moving forward. So I have already pre-filled all of this information out just to save us some time here. And once we create our project, I'm actually going to move on to another project just because it sometimes takes a few minutes. We're going to want to, start diving into and getting all of our other documentation involved and uploaded within our project. So the first kind of major step we want to always do is kind of set up our company kind of directory and folder and file directory here. So the great thing about Procore is when you are using the documents tool and setting up a file directory is you can actually simply use the same Windows. So I have my Windows Explorer up here. Windows Explorer, SharePoint, whatever you use, to just simply drag and drop and upload into there. Now, one issue we see very often is a lot of our clients, they like to duplicate some folders they may have that they save files consistently, such as in my example, I have change orders and contracts here. That's not going to be recommended. Procore has built-in tools already for most of these items actually on my kind of my Windows Explorer right here. So we're just going to get those all in there. So Procore, as we all know, it has a submittal tool already, so we don't need this folder. Same thing with T&M tickets and contracts and change orders. So what I would always recommend doing is when you're doing your workflow and starting up, if you're truly new to Procore, is go through all of the tools, kind of see what they are, see what they offer. And, you don't want to be duplicating processes. So like I said, I have that submittals folder in there. Procore already has a submittals tool. We have a change order tool. There's a T&M tickets tool. Because again, once you start duplicating processes, you're going to get errors. So that's kind of one easy thing about Procore's documents is, again, very easily to just able to copy and paste and drag and drop your normal kind of folders. And same thing with documents. You could easily just simply drag and drop folders and files into here as well. So we could also just simply click new. Lots of different ways, and that's one thing Procore does best is there's not just one way to do everything. So kind of our very next important thing is, both equally important, I should say, is uploading our drawings and specs. So switching tabs again here. So underneath our project tools, we do have the specifications tool. And very easy as well to upload our specs. Drag and drop. We can create a new set. So let me add in a file here. Create a new set, such as bid set. Normal formats, we have CSI. We could start doing issue dates and, when we as the contractor received it. Both can be, the same date. Oftentimes, they are different dates. And really, once we have our file in here, we click process. Procore is going to automatically kind of read all of those specs. And you will eventually get an email depending on how many pages you have in your spec book. And eventually your finished product will look like this. You'll have this particular spec book that I uploaded earlier today, started at actually division number 12, and doesn't really have much more than that. And they're actually all reserved. This is properly what they say. And so you have the specification title, you have the overall CSI for CSI title, conveying equipment, furnishings, simply procurement and contracting requirements. They're all labeled already, and you can easily go to them at any time. So this is the proper way to do it. Again, this saves you hours and hours of time once you do this properly. And very similar to our specifications tool is drawings. So once you open up the drawings tool on Procore, and if you obviously new project, we're just going to simply click upload drawings, and exactly the same steps and procedures as uploading specs. We're going to be creating a set, attaching, which is, we could either attach files or again drag and drop numerous in there. And you'll notice a progress bar on the right side of my screen when they are complete. Again, may take typically anywhere from 5 minutes to up to an hour, depending on how many documents are within those drawings. If you have a nice 2,000-page set of drawings, it might take a little, closer to 40 minutes to an hour. And again, once we get all of those files uploaded, we can see that Procore then sorts them, applies a title. So this is actually all a building number 27 notes to this part, well, on this particular drawing. Has all of our not floor plan names, sheet names, so A561, and very easily organized. We go back just a little bit here. And we also have our sections as well. So we know basic architecture. We had some civil drawings in this set, and we just had some electrical drawings in this set. And if there are any issues within your drawings while they are being, processed by Procore and after they are processed, they'll stay over here. So I still have 11 sheets that need my attention. So they could be, Procore may have not detected that there was a sheet name, for example, or may have detected, maybe there was just an odd page out or a duplicate page. It could be a lot of different reasons. So Procore does all of that work automatically for you. Now, one of the biggest things within, kind of Procore is, and especially setting up a project, is establishing kind of workflows and who is going to do what. And, if you are a company who's, I don't want to say struggling, but if there's a step that is missing along the way while you are doing setting up a project, and it's either the same step or a different step is consistently being missed, you might want to have a sit down, kind of write down everything you expect and what a project should be started up. So again, I had on this particular, example, just drawing specs and everything else. However, obviously, we're going to want to include people from the directory, incorporating previous contractors. Also, if you have a new contractor, who's going to be adding them to Procore? Same as for change orders and all those commitments and everything. You may have a certain individual within your company who assigns all of those and sets up those commitments, or it may be on you, and you are doing everything. That's not something I'm going to recommend. Is when one person does everything, that's typically when things start to get missed when you are creating a project. So really want to emphasize the teamwork on setting up a project within Procore. Other than that, that's kind of just a few basic things. I did get one kind of question, but we'll answer that again at the Q&A session here. So let me go back to our PowerPoint real quick. So I did get one question kind of early on during that. So I do a little bit, I don't want to apologize. I mean, I did say I was going to be at the end. But the question was, so you're going a little quick. However, most of my options are grayed out, and I wasn't able to access a lot of the areas and menus that you were accessing. So that could be, a few different issues here. A lot of the tools I did show come with the kind of core package of Procore. So it wasn't anything, special on top of that. So it should most likely be included with that. However, I'd like to kind of bring up, you probably don't have the appropriate permissions and or user group assigned to you. You may be a higher up one in your company, for example. However, whoever set up your Procore and your groups may not have assigned you those permissions. So you may be able to create a submittal, for example, but you may not be able to add drawings. So that's something, you might want to look within whoever within your company is your Procore administrator and talk about rights. And then I actually just had another question get asked kind of at the end of that statement. This is a two-part question here, kind of. So, is it possible to edit project information at any time and re-upload an entire set of drawings, for example, or specs? And my company is pretty new to Procore, and we also seem to have difficulty adapting, our workflow over to Procore from just using just typical Microsoft projects beforehand. And yes, yes to the first question that. So you can edit, modify, add, delete, anything within Procore at any time. However, one thing I kind of want to emphasize is doing it soon is okay. But again, you don't really want to be doing that process 3-4 months down the line if you forgot to upload the original set of bid documents, for example. That it can cause some issues, and there's a few workarounds you can do. So you really want to, once you get within your project, you want to make sure when you actually start starting to work within the project, you want to make sure you have a 100% solid baseline. And I think that kind of goes into your next question here, where you're having some issues adapting your kind of workflow. And so that's actually, we do provide consulting for Procore. I mean, I kind of brought it up at the beginning here. And it's sometimes just nice to have an outsider view looking into kind of your standard operating procedures and kind of your workflow. Because adopting a project management software such as Procore, it's a big leap for a lot of companies. It's a big leap, and it's not necessarily the easiest. So that I guess kind of stages us into our kind of next point. Well, ZenTek, we do offer again numerous construction support services. So and again, we are certified consultants within Procore. And we do have other clients who do use our services. So if you had at any time, anything regarding Procore, if you need support or anything, feel free to let us know. We do offer, all types of different services, ranging from, just estimating within Procore, adding the scheduling tool within Procore, all of the other services and core tools within Procore, we offer assistance and support for. So you can visit our site, ZenTekConsultants.net, to learn some more. And kind of just to end us off on that, we have just a couple things here. If you do have any questions, again, feel free to visit our website or call us at any time. And if you need to get some more precise information, we do have this email address, sales@ZenTekConsultants.net. Lastly, follow us on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We get a lot of good YouTube views from some of our just basic videos. And LinkedIn, again, we have webinars on there in past webinars. But other than that, I haven't seen any other questions, kind of asked within the chat box here or within the questions panel here. So with that said, I want to say thank you everyone for kind of joining us today. Hopefully you learned something relatively new within the 20 minutes we had together. This is just a pretty quick webinar to kind of go over all the basics of setting up a project within Procore. Hope everyone has a good rest of their Tuesday.